Hello and welcome to The Quest on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Rakhee, Bakshee. In this show, as you know, that we keep bringing you new faces, leading personalities that we talk to, and through them we hear not only their stories but also discuss issues around all of us. So right now we have a very special guest on Rajya Sabha TV. She's a guest from Sri Lanka, the Minister for Child and Women Development. She's Chandrani Bandara. I welcome her onto the show, ma'am. Welcome to India and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. So it's been a real pleasure talking also about issues which are very pertinent to our societies. And since you are handling a portfolio of women and child development, let's start by talking about women in your country, in Sri Lanka. How much do you think is happening currently as far as women are concerned?
Actually, where politics is concerned, or no?
So we'll take up all the issues. Right now, first of all, the overall situation. I mean, as a minister who is handling the issues of gender empowerment or issues around women, how satisfied are you that things are happening?
Actually, when it comes to that issue, I think we are not 100% satisfied. Especially when it comes to politics, we have a very low presentation, especially in parliament and in provincial levels, and even in the local level. In parliament, we have only about 6.8% of presentation, and this I think is mainly due to the culture and the social about the social life in Sri Lanka, where women are not coming forward into politics. So,
and what is the reason, ma'am, that they are not coming forward in politics?
Especially, I think it's the system where the elections are taken place. In our country, we have to face a preferential election, and where we have to be fighting with our own colleagues in the same party for votes, and where a lot of discrimination is done. Then actually we have to spend a lot, and it is difficult for a woman to fight all that and then get into a position. So with all that, I think they don't come forward, especially where I am concerned. I come from a political family. So if you thoroughly, I think, do a research and see with regard to the lady MPs who are in our parliament, most of them have a family background of some sort. So where it is much easier to get into parliament.
I think what you've said is very pertinent, and that's where my next question begins. As you rightly said, that whether still we have this tradition and so to say a structure wherein women who are already backed by political legacy find it much more easier to get into than roles like you or maybe others in South Asia in general. How do you think that can be broken? Because leadership roles have not only to be at the high positions, but it has to percolate down to other women also, who are not really backed by the political, families.
That's right. So actually, Sri Lanka, I think, produced the first Prime Minister, the lady Prime Minister, and of course we had Chandrani Bandara Jayasinghe as our president. I think beyond a political background, I think we should use some sort of another way of getting ladies, women into politics. At the moment, this present government, we are planning to put forward this quota system. I think with that, we will be able to give a start to getting ladies into the political field. So for that, we have been fighting for quite a long time. And actually,
do you see any hope now in terms of
definitely
traveling? Like in India, we are really looking forward to a 33% reservation for women in parliament.
That's right. So, but I think where the region is concerned, we are really low in the political circle where women representation is. And I should say the Honorable Prime Minister is really strongly supporting us. And during the 100 days, we had a 100 days program that was last year when the new president was elected. We had a quick 100-day program where each ministry had to work on certain things. So my ministry got the chance of working on this getting more women into politics. So where we introduced, I introduced a cabinet paper asking for 30% of women participation, where I got a green light, and then especially with my Prime Minister's help, of course. And now this after that, after the new government was in place, that is our government, we have now, we have introduced the cabinet paper again for 1/3 of the participation of women in politics, and where the approval is given.
Oh, that's nice, ma'am. But we are also talking about how these spaces can percolate down. For example, in India, we have the panchayat system, where we are seeing that more and more women at the local level are also taking up roles of sarpanches, as we call it. In your country, do you see that kind of movement happening, where women at the lower level also are getting political representation?
Yes, actually this, what we are going to start of this quota system, we'll be starting it from the low level, from the local level. That is where we are going to start by giving them, by giving 25% for the women, where we can choose, the women can run for elections as well. And apart from that, we will be taking about 25% of women into these councils. So where there are so many very strong women who want to get into politics, but with the poverty level, they are finding it difficult. So that is why we brought in this quota system.
So would you have any new schemes right now from your ministry that is helping women? For example,
Funding?
in India, for example, social sector funding. Whenever we talk about South Asian countries, whether it's your country or even in our country, we talk about it, how much of a budget or fund being given to social sector, or let's say the cause of women empowerment?
Actually, we, for running for elections, of course, there's no such system. So we have to find our own funds.
Ways and means. Yeah.
Means of finding the funds. So, but where allocation for strengthening women, where they are, for them to come up in life, of course, they have allocated enough funds. Actually, last year, I was given 20 million for the lower areas where we can select the women where they are really into poverty and where they want to move forward. So we choose the women and we give them funds where they can come up in life.
What about economic empowerment in terms of, let's say, women having more role in corporate areas, women taking up role as business women? When we talk about economic empowerment, we have to look at it from two levels. One, which is at the higher end, where women are, for example, in our country, becoming CEOs and MDs of companies. And on the other hand, how they can build cooperatives and small communities and really build some financial structure for themselves.
Yes, where that is concerned, of course, I think about 60% of our women are in those areas. In the city areas, we have women in high levels. When it comes to the Chief Justice, we have had a woman who was a Chief Justice, and of course, there are so many lawyers, doctors, and who are women. And also where the rural areas are concerned, we get these women who are in the government service, who hold posts in high levels. And I think we are improving little by little, only in the political circle that we find it.
When we look at our country, for example, we are tackling two major issues. For example, violence against women, which should not happen. And that's what I think will be discussed here in this delegation level talk, and theme is also that. And also as to how discrimination at homes, in schools and in society can really be dealt away with.
That's right. We actually, this is happening very badly, the discrimination and harassment and stuff. So we have taken a lot of steps with regard to that by having awareness programs and then tightening the laws, and especially in schools we have awareness programs, and in the rural levels we have the AGA divisions, that is the I think you know, where we have, from the ministry, we have our own people who go into the village levels and get the communities, and where they have awareness programs, so that they are being informed on what steps you should take. And also we have these children and women desks in police stations. When they get into problems like this, where they are more comfortable to go and complain rather than going into a police station, so that they can go into these special places, yes, and then they can make their complaint.
So talking about, let's say we are taking a lot of inspiration from a country like Canada, which is giving so much of representation to women in politics. 50%. Half of their cabinet are women. Do you think countries like us should really take a lot of cue from there?
Definitely. I think women can do a big change in a country. I think if we start working on it, the general public will realize it. I think if you give a task for a woman, I think she will do a better job. And people will have more faith in a woman, I think.
Talking about politics in your country also a little bit, and how do you think Sri Lanka and India, two countries, can really come forward and together? We are talking about a South Asian atmosphere. We are all neighbors. So how do you think that relationship can get strengthened?
I think we can do we can have a very good relationship. Already we have a good relationship, and I think the Prime Minister and the President, they are really working on it, and I think they had several visits to India, and they were greeted in a very high profile way, and I think we should continue our ties and make it stronger and stronger, and we'll have a better.
So we'll have to take a short break out here on The Quest on Rajya Sabha TV. We are talking right now to Ms. Chandrani Bandara, and she's a Women and Child Development Minister from Sri Lanka. We'll continue the conversation after this very short break, so don't go. Welcome back to the show. You're watching The Quest here on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Rakhee, Bakshee, and we are in conversation with Ms. Chandrani Bandara. She is, as I told you, is the minister from Sri Lanka, and we are talking about some of the issues also. Of course, we've talked about issues related to gender empowerment, but let's say some of the issues of concern in your country would be related to conflict, and how are you really tackling that? Because as we were told earlier, women in any sphere get disturbed and challenged by the situation around. So if there is peace, there would be democracy and development happening. But if there is lack of peace, then that kind of disturbs the situation. So in general, how would you really look at the situation?
Actually, at the moment, we have peace, and there's no such thing happening anymore. And especially in the north, people are really comfortable, and they have started their day-to-day life. And when it comes to my ministry, I have done a lot of work in the north, and we have started so many centers where women to uplift their livelihood, and also with their psychosocial problems with these facing the
let's say
war.
The conflict.
Yes, so I have opened up centers where they can come and go there, and where they can get help.
So you're saying that women in distress, basically, and distress which is caused by conflict sometimes, you're helping these women in terms of?
There are some women who are in that shape, so we have to get them to the normal, to normalize them, and so we are doing a lot of work. And of course, what I could say is now they feel free, and they have a normal life now. And the Prime Minister and President are really concerned on those areas, and they have visited quite a few times now, and we are doing a lot of work in those areas, developing the areas and giving their land back to them. So that is their main issues like. So I think we are doing better.
If I can take up this issue that between India and Sri Lanka sometimes, and as we see, some of the sensitive issues actually revolve around let's say how that fisherman issue comes up sometimes. So whether though I mean we are talking largely about women, but then if there are problems, then that needs to be sorted out and really looked at with congeniality, so to say.
I think the minister in charge of that area is doing a good job, and I think all those things will be sorted out very quickly.
Yeah. So talking again about gender empowerment, let's look at the legal system. For example, in India, we have a lot of laws, and we are talking about parliament, which is making legislations. In your country, do you think you are kind of supporting women by coming up with new support systems, whether they are legal support systems or other ones?
Yes, where the legal sector is concerned, we actually, as the women's ministry, we get involved in these type of thing when women get into problems, because we have a special helpline in the ministry. It's 1938, and anyone can call us if they are in a problem. So if there are problems which we can handle then and there, we do that. Otherwise, if it's a long process, then we will help them to sort those things out. And I think where the legal side is concerned, now it's really getting into the democratic level.
So we are talking actually about democracy and peace. And in South Asia, if you see, and what are your thoughts about it as to how we can create a better society? When we talk about a better society, we talk about women really, feeling safe and secure and finding the right spaces where they can work, they can be at home, but contribute to development at large. So in the whole South Asian perspective, how would you really look at that?
That is developing
women and making for a better society. And again, basically what we are also discussing, and the theme is how economic empowerment would lead to development, because as we say in India, that don't just count us out, count us in, because we are very much a vibrant part of democracy and development.
Where that is concerned, I think when it comes to Sri Lanka, it's a male-dominated country. But anyway, now gradually, I think it is changing, and people feel that more women participation is needed, and actually women are also moving forward. And I think by getting more women into these areas, we can have better development. And
so for example, education and health, these are the issues that we also think that like more women, more young girls should go to schools. There should not be early child marriages here in India. We are very concerned about that. They should also be able to have a good health, benefit should go to women, and they should be more secure to really work ahead. Is that something which disturbs you as a minister there in Sri Lanka?
No, we have actually, where education is concerned, all our children are actually they have to go to school, and education and health are given free, mostly. Yes, so they.
No, but what about girls? Sometimes they drop out because
No, in our case, I think the girls in Sri Lanka, they are really into education. They want to move forward in education, and mostly I think girls are having higher education than the boys, I think.
So, really? Is
yes.
that so in your country?
Yeah. They are more interested in going up.
But do they get support in terms of, even here in India, girls are very eager to study, but there are problems and hurdles.
We are giving support for them to move forward.
Okay.
There's no restrictions.
Okay. Then talking about in Sri Lanka, like I told you that in here we have all these associations also which try and help women. So we have business institutions which help women becoming entrepreneurs, and business leading women are also here. In Sri Lanka, are you giving thrust to more entrepreneurial nature of women and how they can take up businesses on their own, become self-reliant?
Of course, we have a lot of lady entrepreneurs who are really doing well and in very high levels, and there are no barriers. women who are really good and who can move forward are given the help that is needed.
So, any other thought that you would like to share, because this delegation is looking at how women can also be more skilled, how skill development can help women actually gain more confidence and take up more jobs and employment. So, any thoughts on that?
Yes, we actually there are so many programs of training which we are giving the women as well in technology, electrical in the electrical side as well. Now women are interested in learning in those areas as well. So I think if women are interested in any area, I think if they are good at it, we should allow them to move forward.
Because in India, sometimes we say that women are coming up in all fields, but sometimes certain areas it is felt that women are not really made for those areas to take up responsibilities. How individually, how would you agree or disagree with that?
I don't agree with that. if a woman can lead a country as a president, I don't see why she can't go into other areas. If she is capable of doing it, you must allow them to move forward.
How would you look at your own journey? I mean, as you said, as a political leader in your country, how tough or how the road has been for you?
It is a tough road, though my father was in politics, he was also a cabinet minister. And after his demise only I entered politics. But at the beginning, I just won, I think, mainly because of what my father had done, because I hardly had any time to work with the people. But then thereafter, since 2000, I entered in 2000. Since then, I have been in parliament. So I have worked my way through, but not a easy road, because as I told you, according to this election system, where we have to, where there's a lot of infighting with our own colleagues, especially being a woman, it's very, very difficult. Even the last recent election, I had a very tough time with my other more senior colleague who entered politics before me. They were really harassing me, yes,
but
personally.
once inside the house, in parliament, how much voice do you get? You women leaders, parliamentarians, how much voice do you have?
That is a bit of a problem, but we fight for it, and we have a women's caucus, and when it comes to women's issues, we all stand up together, whether we are in different parties, we are together on issues in women. So, and when we want to voice something out,
currently is there any
together.
issue that you're really fighting for and you really want a lot of rights for women?
We actually have the rights, we have to practice them properly.
Okay, so as we are trying to now wrap up, would you like to talk about the road ahead, not only for women in Sri Lanka, but as I'm saying, also South Asia in general, because some of the issues between us, all these countries that are here also for this delegation, are shared issues actually. Some of the issues are really common to all of these countries and especially women. So is there any one idea that you would like to share that should enlighten everyone?
I think actually you said about Canada. It is really a very good message, and I think we have to salute the Premier, the Canadian Premier, for accommodating 50% of women into the Parliament and into his government. And I think which at least in year 2015 he has realized what women could do to change the world. So which he has given a message to the world.
Very true. I think more representation at the political level, social and economic level, as you are also saying, will really help. Taking a very progressive approach as far as women and their roles are concerned in society. So thank you so much for talking to us here on Rajya Sabha TV, and that was Ms. Chandrani Bandara. She talked to us on range of issues related not only to gender empowerment but how India and Sri Lanka can come together. So thanks for watching this particular edition of The Quest on Rajya Sabha TV. Namaskar once again and bye-bye.